Kavanaugh, and then right after this you have Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Let's take a listen.
So there isn't a new rule about history being relevant. The Mississippi Supreme Court ignored what this court has already said about history being relevant. And the broader point that everything...
The court said it took account of the history. So what are we to make of that?
Well, if the court had taken account of the history, it couldn't have come to this conclusion. And I think there's many reasons in the opinion to believe that they didn't.
All right, so the idea there is they're not doing it on video, it's only on audio. So that was the timestamp at 1956 where Ruth Bader Ginsburg had put her question out. Q says, what is RBG in the kill box's current state of health? Are pictures being avoided for a reason? Pics in and out of home, in and out of cars equals easy. Q. Yep, they're very easy. Well, I don't know. I would only assume that because they are not showing video, it must be a reason, right? All right, guys. So I recorded that part earlier, and I am now home after work, and Bree had sent over this story by Neon Revolt having to do with RBG. But before I get into that, guys, I got some super good news. Prayers were answered, and my wife's mother's results came back, and everything was benign. So no cancer, and there was like one spot that they couldn't, check. So in 6 months they'll check it, but the doctor believes, like the other ones, all the ones that they checked out were non-cancerous. So many, many thanks. She thanks you guys all for all the well wishes and support, and she actually watched the last couple of Q videos, so she's lurking. Don't think she's posting comments, but she's lurking, watching the video. So glad to hear that there, Mom, and I really appreciate, guys, all your prayers and great words. So the hive mind and the hive praying absolutely works, guys.
Amen.
So thank you so much. And now what Bree had sent over, that Neon Revolt here had done is just, woof, crazy. So I'm going to leave a link to this, guys. But the long and short of it is that, you got to love that picture, right? So he's talking about how he's got a huge article he's working on, and he's going to do, he's going to be working on this, but he found this story out, and it's huge, so he needs to get into it, basically. So he says, one Q drop from early this morning, but I think you'll agree it's huge. Let's begin with drop 3195. What's RBG's current state of health, right? So Q gives us a link to the Supreme Court's oral argument that I just played a little bit of, right? And directs us to listen to RBG's questions at the time listed above. Here's Q's link, right? And that's just what I read to you or played for you guys, Flowers versus Mississippi. I listened last night as I was immediately discouraged because, frankly, I'm hoping she kicks the bucket soon. She has had some recent health scares, and I'm sure you're aware, but here she sounded cogent, coherent, and quite vocal. And unlike some who thought this was the result of a voice double, this sounded exactly like RBG to me. Here's an interview clip for reference. I'm not going to play it. You guys all know that she has that really creepy voice. I can't really do her at all, sorry. My voice is a little raspy today as it is, but she says, so yeah, that's her on the Supreme Court clip, as far as I know. And if not, it's a heck of a voice actress.
The precious of ridding us of the Mann Act that protected children being trafficked across interstate
so I returned to it
for
early this
reasons of
afternoon.
prostitution. She got rid of that.
Playing in a tab
She's
of my browser
so
when I clicked
progressive.
ahead and suddenly heard what I thought was a repeat of audio I had just heard. Huh? That's weird, I thought to myself. I clicked back and listened again, and there was that voice again. Kagan's voice, Elena Kagan. I clicked forward, Kagan again. Listen for yourself, start at 21:25, and wait for Kagan to come in and say, Miss Johnson, some, and then click forward to 22:38, and again you'll hear, Miss Johnson, some, and I verified that this happens, guys, too, so. He said, I had to see what was going on, so I went to the Supreme Court site and pulled the MP3 of the arguments from here, and he gives all the links and everything. He said, I then isolated the audio clips one after the other. You'll hear Kagan interrupt the first clip.
Of the circumstances and conduct a sensitive inquiry.
Ms. Johnson, your strongest case is potential juror right.
death penalty attitudes, or anything else.
Ms. Johnson, some time ago, Justice Alito asked you about the prosecutor's investigation of...
And I'll play it again so you can hear that, from the end side of it.
Totality of the circumstances and conduct a sensitive inquiry.
Ms. Johnson,
strongest case.
Or anything
So here
else.
we go.
Ms. Johnson, some time ago, Justice Alito...
Wow, so it definitely is, guys, right? And for the record, yes, this is a lousy MP3. I was working with a WAV file, blah, blah, blah. One of my readers on Gab at jholmes55 did me a favor of aligning the two clips on top of each other so you can hear it even better.
Ms. Johnson, some time ago, Justice Alito asked you about the... Ms. Johnson, some time ago, Justice Alito asked you...
Sounds an awful lot like editing, right? Well, the only way to be 100% sure is to look at the spectral graph of the waveforms. So I did. Here's from the interpretation clip. And guys, any audio experts out there, I know my brother there, Severe Anon's an audiophile, so I know he probably can read these things or, gather what these charts mean. But to me, it's absolutely just gibberish, it's pretty colors. So basically, here's from the Kagan solo clip. See the little swirls down the very bottom? Let's see what we got here. The similarities are astounding, but to be sure, I had to overlay the two clips. That's, I guess, where he's overlaying the two clips, showing them back and forth. See that spiral on the right? Yeah, this is the same clip. He says, which means someone is editing the oral arguments heard at SCOTUS in a way we've never been publicly aware of before. They've inserted
Power
RBG's audio.
to the
The
people.
waveforms prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you a bill of goods.
Power to the
So
people.
there it is, guys. 100%,
Power to
they
the
are
people,
absolutely
right
editing
on.
that clip.